So what do you actually do when your Amazon KDP book gets blocked? Like, you get this email from support that's like, this is disappointing content. We're not going to publish this book. And you're like, wait a second, I've spent all this time like creating something. I'm going to walk you through some of the best practices that my students and that I have done to overcome this. I think this is something that is happening a little bit more common on Amazon KDP for the opportunity. Like, it is very popular to publish because it is free to set up an account. Now, why would you listen to this advice from me? My name is Jenny Hansen-Lane, and I've been publishing on Amazon KDP for 3 years. I've crossed 6 figures. I just published my 610 book. And so from that experience, I've learned so many ins and outs of the strategy of publishing, but also making it profitable. But then also there's a lot of hiccups that can happen. And so for those of you that are like looking, what happens when they say, like this is disappointing content? When we sign up for Amazon KDP, we sign the terms and conditions, the terms of agreement that like we're going to do our best to make a high quality book. We know that Amazon really cares about their customer, right? Lets them return whatever they want. Like, it is a great place. I'm a Prime buyer and it is so convenient. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of the ways to get over the disappointing content and what you can do. But it's also just a reminder that it's not the end. Like, if this happens to you, don't give up. I was actually talking to my attorney and he was like, so many people give up so fast when they have stuff like this happen. And so it is normal to want to give up, but we're going to be a little irregular. We're going to be a little like relentless. If you guys know anything about me, I'm a kind of relentless. And so that's how I'm able to progress. It's just something that I push through. Call it childhood trauma, call it, I don't know. It's just how I'm wired. Okay, so here's my feedback. If you've gotten that email about a book that they're not going to put up for sale, sometimes they won't block it, right? Sometimes they'll put it in draft. Your book will just go in draft and you'll get that email and you'll be wondering like, what do I actually do? Some of the best practices that I've done with my students when they've gotten that email about disappointing content is slowly like moving on. Now, it's important to note here that this is happening right now in our space with low content books a lot, and even prompted journals. Just yesterday, one of my students said that their prompted journal, which they spent a lot of time on, came back with Amazon being like, we're putting this in draft. We think it's disappointing content. Now, that is tricky because that is part of the terms and conditions, that it cannot be disappointing. And who decides who's disappointed here, right? Like, is it Jeff Bezos? Okay, so we've got to do something to elevate that. And so the best practice that I have found when this happens to you is to take a step back from low content. Take a step back from prompted journals for just your next book, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to focus on medium content, okay? So create something that's not disappointing. And I'm not saying that your work is disappointing. What I'm saying is that there is so much that Amazon is trying to monitor and filter that, like, even just a year ago, they put up the 3 book a day rule, where they now limit it because there were so many people that were publishing garbage on the site. Now, art is in the eye of the beholder, but guys, if I don't even know how to talk about this lovingly, I love you, and I don't think you're actually within the sound of my voice. I don't think people who watch my channel have this problem. I think that we want to be authentic, we want to be genuine, we want to do the right thing, right? And so my advice, just for those of you that are watching this video, is just to take a step back and evaluate, was there anything I could adjust about my cover? Is there anything I could evaluate about the inside of my book? Is there anything that I can add to it more that really makes it a great customer experience, okay? Every single book that you publish, you're going to learn and iterate on, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It's like getting better at push-ups. You just put in the reps to get more, okay? But what I've seen for my students and myself is, like, if you have something like that, take a step back and think about how to create a better book, and sometimes switching it up and focusing on something that has a little bit more value can do that, okay? Now, I say value here because it's something more than just a line journal. Okay, and even a prompted journal. And so I think also to avoid disappointing content, sometimes the repeated pages things is flagged with Amazon, and we want to make sure that every book that we put out has a level of quality because we actually want it to sell, right? So maybe the reframe here is if you've ever got that disappointing content, like let it be feedback for you to reframe to say, you know what, I'm not just uploading this book because I'm trying to saturate the market. I want the book to do well and I want the book to sell. So why would Amazon say that to me? Why would they send me an email about disappointing content? Is there anything that I did that I could do better? And if the answer is yes, work on that. If the answer is no, share it. Share it with family and friends. Say, what do you think about this book? What do you think about this feedback? Okay. So the reframe too was like, take a break from that book and publish something different. Usually always goes through and it goes live. Okay. So this is where we're going to lean into more medium content. Okay. And this is, I guess this could be described as non-repeated pages. Okay. So it's a little bit more content that we're creating, a little bit more, the way I like to describe it with the book hierarchy is like, I want you to be able to identify like 2 to 5 features of your book, like what is in that. Okay. And that's one reason that I actually I do this with my kids more than by myself. We focus on activity books is because it hits this so well. And what happens is you can price it for $9.99 or more because you're filling it with features. Okay. The features of like, and what I really like, hopefully you guys can see the green, you'll have to let me know, is like the word search it's educational. Okay. It's educational. A mom like me is more likely to do something like that than other types of books if it's like enhancing the education. So just be thoughtful about that. And it's okay to actually question yourself about like, why did this get listed as, why did I get this email back? From my experience, all my students and people in the comments here that this has happened to, when they've emailed Amazon doesn't come back with a response that's constructive. They say we uphold our decision. So we have to do our part to be like, why didn't that push-up look good? Like, what can I do to put in the reps more? Okay. Now I have a free training coming up. I want you to come. It's live. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be breaking down like the 3 biggest things that helped me cross 6 figures and how I follow that process repeatedly. So I'll actually put a link below. And let me know what type of trainings you would like on this channel, any other feedback about like where you're at in your book journey. And here is a video that YouTube is suggesting. I love you. I'm cheering for you. Always remember, if you don't quit, you can't lose. See you in the next video.